Hey everyone, and welcome back. Hey everyone, welcome back. So that might be a weird intro there because YouTube did a little glitchy thing, so I'm not sure I was actually live that first time. So you might get two welcome backs. Okay. Yeah, we've got some good stuff on the menu, Annie. We've got some good, juicy stuff on the menu. To be honest, I thought tonight was going to be a pretty quiet show. And then IGN just dropped me a huge ass gift for tonight. A gift that actually got me pretty angry on Twitter, to be honest. But you know, me angry on Twitter is just like my level 10 is probably like other people's sevens. You know what I mean? Like I'm generally a pretty a put together person. So when I get angry, like if I call you a clown, that is like me getting like uber pissed off because I'm not like the kind of person that just throws insults or stuff out there. But we will get into that a little bit later. And look, I will try to be as fair as I can when we're going to be talking about that stuff, about IGN's 5 out of 10 for Brothership. And to be totally honest, full disclosure, I have not played Brothership yet. So I also am going to want to revisit this after I've played the game. But I still want to talk about it because since Thursday we're going to spend all day playing this game. There's like a context that I want to set up because I just want to set up the context of what giving that game a 5 out of 10, what IGN is basically saying by that, by their own standards, okay? And then after playing the game on Thursday, I will then be ready to like sort of be 100% sure that I still think their score is ridiculous. But till then, I will mention that, look, I could be wrong. And if I'm wrong on Thursday after playing the game, I will be the first person to say, dude, I was wrong. But I'm gonna read to you. I read the full review. By the way, I didn't just look at the score. I read the full review, and we will talk about that. But I'm getting too deep into it right now because I'm already like going into like rage mode. And yes, Metal Slug Tactics does come out tomorrow. I'm honestly trying to see what I can do to play that game and give it like enough time, but it's like problematic because I'm like super behind on all my reviews. It's insane. I have like 4 reviews that are like I've played the games, I can review the games, but I just don't have time to sit down, write the reviews, film the reviews, edit the reviews. Like Nico de Rico has been filmed for like a week and a half now, and I still haven't been able to edit it. But look, that's beside the point. That's my problems. That's not your problems. And I want to get the videos out there for you. I still have to film Echoes of Wisdom, which I really want to do justice for. And I will do a review for that game, even if it's super late. But okay, but we don't only have IGN to talk about tonight, because we have some other fun stories as well. And we also have Nintendo that is being a pain in the ass currently because holy crap, can they stop giving us announcements that are not the Switch 2? Like, I just can't live with it anymore. Waking up in the morning, seeing that Nintendo dropped a new trailer on my phone, being like, yes, this is finally the freaking day, and then getting like a Nintendo Music app, which we're going to talk about today, is something super cool. It's just like, dude, stop doing this to us. Just tell us what, like, I could get so much more excited about all this other stuff if I already knew the Switch 2 was coming out. But because the Switch 2 isn't announced yet, I just can't get excited about this stuff because it's not what I want to hear about. But we'll talk about that tonight. We also have a super fun little demo where someone actually got Doom running on the Alarmo. We're going to actually look at that very shortly. We have an announcement for a game last week that also was one of the big announcements from Nintendo that everyone thought was maybe the Switch 2 and then ended up being something totally different. So we're going to look at that as well. Yeah, we're going to have a fun show tonight. We're going to look, as usual, we're also going to be looking at the new Nintendo Switch games that are coming out this week that are interesting. And honestly, the list is a lot shorter than I thought it would be. So that's sort of goodish for the show, for like my review time, because this might actually be the week where I get stuff out, especially considering that I have 2 days off, Thursday and Friday, although we're going to be streaming all day. So like Thursday is not going to be like a day where I can catch up on content, but it also does mean that Wednesday I can sort of go to bed super late and not feel guilty because the next morning I have to work. You know what I mean? And streaming with you guys is so much fun that I like a couple of energy drinks during the day and I will be good to go for the whole freaking day. Okay. So that is pretty much going to be our show for tonight. Now, I hope everyone is doing good this week because, like I said, also Thursday, birthday stream, big week, awesome week because it's my birthday as well. It is the day I graced the earth with my presence, and you know that was an awesome day for everyone concerned. Happy 50th, exactly. No, I'm actually 26 this year. 26 going on 42. But yeah. Not 42 this year. 42. 43's next year. 42 this year. Okay. So I said hi to Annie Grovel. I just want to make sure I got everyone. Neo Blitz, welcome. Champ Dancer, welcome. I've been answering your questions, so I'm pretty sure I knew you were there. But yes. Okay. Sorry, it was a leap year. Yeah, but I'm not born on the 28th, so it doesn't change anything in the calculations there. I'm sorry, you can't get me with that one. We're also on Thursday, by the way. You guys are probably going to get to meet my youngest daughter because she wants to come on stream for the first time. And for my birthday, she's going to do the segment with me. She's going to help me taste the Mr. Beast Feastable bars. So she's gonna come for the sequence late afternoon, and we're going to taste the Mr. Beast Feastable bars. So that way you guys get a totally honest opinion of a candy specialist, a 11-year-old child who is like basically a sugar maniac. So you guys are going to get to meet her officially. I think you guys have seen her once or twice, like come behind the camera, but she's never actually sat down and done a sequence. No, she can speak some English. And I might be translating some parts for her because she's going to get nervous. So her English might be weaker than usual. So if she does speak French, I will be translating maybe parts for her. So I told her that if she doesn't know how to say something or it doesn't come to her in the moment, to just tell me in French and I'll translate like straight out for you guys. Okie doke. And anyway, yeah, maybe I'll have some other family guests on Thursday as well stop by during the day. We shall see. We shall see. And eventually, hopefully, I will maybe get other guests as well. Welcome, Frenchie Mom. Glad to see you here. Glad you could make it. Okay. So, now that our intros are done, let's move slowly into the stories. And we're going to start with the fun one for tonight. We're probably starting around 11 a.m. because I have to pick up Brothership because I'm getting the physical copy. So, I have to pick it up around 10. I'm gonna say 11 to make sure I have the time to get everything set up and whatnot. 11 a.m. Eastern time. Okay. Now I hope I have the right. No, I do not. There we go. Okay. So first of all, we're gonna start with the fun story for this week. I retweeted this one when it was announced, and honestly, it was too funny because last week it sort of all happened together. Someone basically showed that it was really easy to hack the Alarmo and to basically get anything running on it. So someone like put an image of their cat on the Alarmo as the first demo that they showed. And then obviously the instant reaction from everyone online to that post was, can it run Doom? And next, make it run Doom. So a few days later, he responded in form by saying exactly that. Like by after my last post, it was pretty clear that what everyone wanted to see on Alarmo. So here it is, Doom running on the Nintendo Alarmo. Okay, and it is pretty funny. Now there is no audio to the video, unfortunately, but you're gonna see that you can actually control the character in Doom with the Alarmo. It's actually, like, obviously I would never choose to play Doom this way, but it's just peak like meme heavy, like obviousness that this is just too funny. It's actually alarming. Exactly. So let's watch the demo. And like I said, there's no audio. You can see that the frame rate is like not the best. And what's awesome as well is if you do, and the link is shared down below, if you do have an Alarmo, he shared all these steps to doing this. He shared the code to be able to do this. And it's actually pretty simple to do if you have some tiny basic technical skills. And there's actually a way to run the shareware version of Doom directly from the USB. So you actually don't need to open up or really mod your Alarmo in any way, and you can actually get the shareware version running. If you want like the full version, it's a little more complicated than that, but this is actually pretty sick that you can actually turn the character with the Alarmo button at the top, and basically when he pushes in the button, it fires the gun. It is actually too freaking funny. Oh no, it's yeah, you're right, it's the up down buttons for time. Sorry, it's the set buttons. You're right, it's the action button when you press down on the Alarmo button. But like you can see, he's taking out the first few enemies in the game. It is actually, I was laughing the whole time when I was seeing this, and it is just, as I said, as it was foreseen, Doom runs on anything. And now it also runs on the Alarmo. Apparently, though, like it's really hard to get the audio running. He explains it in the thing, but you can't really get the audio running correctly on it because of some of the way it's sort of programmed. But I think they said they're going to work on that part. So yeah, he actually made it through the first level of Doom, playing it directly on the freaking alarm clock. Now that is hilarious, and I think it's an excellent way to start the show tonight because it's just funny. It's just funny, and like I said, you can check it out. If you do have an Alarmo, you can do it. I do not have an Alarmo, but now part of me wants to get an Alarmo only to have it run Doom. Like, it sounds like the worst possible way to spend $100, but at the same time, it just might be worth it. It just might be worth it. So there we have it, the Alarmo. Okay, next. Let's jump into, what do we do first? Let's do the Nintendo Music trailer. Let's talk about the Nintendo Music. We're keeping IGN for the last story before the new game. Be like, obviously before we jump into the upcoming Switch games. So IGN's going to be the cream of the crop tonight. It's going to be the cherry on the sundae, as you could say. So let's talk about the Nintendo Music app. Now, and this is what I was saying earlier. We're going to look at the trailer. We're going to listen to the trailer. We're going to watch the trailer. I actually think this is a really cool announcement. Okay, we're also going to talk about the slight drama that came up about it, like right away after. But like, I don't want to focus too much on that because do I think it would be nice that the composers be credited for the songs? Sure. But I mean, at the same time, does Nintendo have to do it? No. Could it be done in a future update? Maybe. We'll see. But I do think it's really cool, actually. And if you're already a Nintendo Switch Online member, it's actually really cool that it's now sort of like included with your membership. So it's like adding extra value to that Nintendo Switch Online membership. But basically, let's watch the trailer first and then we'll talk about it. It's a really cool announcement. It's just like I said, it's hard to get very excited about this stuff because this is not the announcement we want right now. I would be able to get so much more excited, like I said, if we already knew what the Switch 2 is, when it's coming out, and if, like, then I could, like, sort of my mind could move past it and we could start talking about something else.
Listen to music from some of your favorite Nintendo games. Introducing Nintendo Music, a smart device app that lets you stream or download music to the app for offline listening. Nintendo Music features a variety of tracks from franchises such as Animal Crossing, The Legend of Zelda, Super Mario, and many more. You can listen to curated playlists based on different themes.
And I'm actually surprised how much variety they put in, by the way. If you haven't downloaded the app yet, I strongly recommend it.
From Princess Zelda to Yoshi. Some playlists feature music inspired by specific characters.
I thought there was going to be like only like 2-3 games to start with, but no.
And boss battles. If you're looking for tunes that'll match your energy, there are even playlists to fit your mood. Can't find the playlist for you? You can also create your own. If you haven't had an opportunity to play a certain game and you're worried about spoilers, you can filter that music out.
Just recentering it. I don't know why it wasn't centered.
Allowing you to hide songs from that game. You can also extend the length of certain tracks.
Yeah,
By extending the length or
just
looping a
loops
track,
the tracks,
you can
though.
spend more time with a particular song.
Like, it sounds crazy in
From
function,
recent releases
but
to nostalgic classics, more
if
music
you put
will
the
be
track
added
on
over
repeat,
time.
it pretty much does the same thing. And they've already added tracks, by the way.
Enjoy
like,
Nintendo game music
this week.
now on your smart device.
Nintendo Music.
Nintendo Music launches today and is available exclusively to Nintendo Switch Online members.
I think there's nothing else, right? Yeah, no, it's just a symbol. So that was the announcement. And I've got to say, like I said, day one, as soon as it came out, I downloaded the app. I have it on my phone and everything. I've been testing it out. Works really well. Like, it doesn't take a lot of bandwidth to get it running. And honestly, the track selection is really good. I just hope they keep it up. Like I said, they said that there's updates, and we've already got, like I said, one update this week. And I really hope that it's constant updates like that. Like, I hope it's not at one point like that we're going to spend like 6 months with nothing and then they drop like a bunch of it. I hope it's like weekly updates, adding in tracks here and there, so you can really extend the playlists. Now, the one thing maybe that so far, it's like I tried using it at the gym, but it's hard to find like high energy tracks that are really fitting in with like an intense workout. That's the one part. Like, I find that a lot of the Nintendo music is way better for like easy listening and background listening while you're like doing something else, like at work or something, than like physical activity or whatnot. Because there are some high energy tracks, but it doesn't hit as hard as like, you know, like house music or something like that when you're really Zelda's for lifting. I don't know, man. Zelda's way too easygoing a lot of the tracks. Like, there are some fast-paced tracks, but no, man, I can't lift to Zelda. Like, there's too many lo-fi, like, easygoing tracks in Zelda. There are some good ones, but now The one thing about this is I hope it doesn't start causing like DMCA issues on YouTube. The one thing that I was worried though about this app is that if Nintendo starts DMCAing the music and it sort of DMCAs it on playthroughs of the games, I would be very sad. So I just hope that Nintendo doesn't go overboard with this and starts like trying to DMCA music during the games, because people think that they're like sort of refeeding the tracks into YouTube or whatnot. Tears would be a good theme when you beat the game. Yeah, I mean, there. Look, we to be honest, there's so much good music, and especially Zelda. I'll agree, amazing music. I'm just saying, like, it's the one thing that sort of like I'm waiting for. Like, I'm trying to think what tracks I could actually build into like a lifting playlist. I think that's actually going to be a challenge, guys. I think that'll be a challenge. I will try to build a freaking lifting playlist for the Nintendo app. And if I do find one, I'm going to share it, guys. I think that's going to be like challenge numero uno for the music app. So like I said, I am super happy that they announced this app. It's honestly an extremely nice added value for people that already have Nintendo Switch Online. And I actually can think over time, it could actually be like we could actually get people that decide to buy Nintendo Switch Online to get easy free access to all the music in one place. It could actually bring people in that don't necessarily play games online, so they don't actually care directly about the Nintendo Switch Online service, but they care enough about the music to easily be able to play it in one place. Because don't forget, you can do it on YouTube, but if you're not paying for YouTube Premium, you can't play it with your with like the app closed on your phone. This you can play with the app closed. And YouTube Premium, you're going to get ads. You know what I mean? You're most likely going to get ads and stuff during that. So if you want to be able to play it like with the app closed and without ads, you have to pay for YouTube Premium. And it's going to end up costing you more than a Nintendo Switch Online membership. Like, unless you're already a premium member because of other content that you watch that you want to watch without ads. You know what I mean? So, honestly, I'm thinking awesome announcement. Just, they should have done this after the Nintendo Switch 2. And I know some people think it would have gotten buried. I don't think so. I think people would have been like, oh my God, even though you guys announced the Switch 2, you're still adding value to the current Switch while we're waiting for it to come out. And you would launch the Switch 2 like with like people are blown minds, and people would just be like, I think the hype would be even higher if Switch 2 was already announced. Which, by the way, we're getting the investors meeting is tomorrow for Nintendo. It actually might have already started because it's on Japanese time. So we actually might already get news tomorrow morning. Or is it tomorrow during the afternoon because it's on the 6th over there? I have to go check. I'm not sure. But the investors meeting, one way or another, the latest we're going to hear about it is tomorrow. And we actually might get something announced. I'm still part of me thinking, what the heck if we wake up tomorrow morning to the trailer for the Switch 2 for the investors meeting? I don't want to think it because I would think timing-wise that feels bad. They should have done it at least a day ahead of time. But I'm like, what if they want to just actually have that meeting go insanely hype? And we wake up tomorrow morning and we've got a trailer drop. Anyway, so Nintendo Music, awesome announcement. But that is not the only announcement we got last week, because we got a game that so many people have been asking for such a long time, bringing the absolute whole series now on the Nintendo Switch, playable on the Switch. And not only that, pretty much transferring over the last remnant of the really good games from the Wii U era that weren't available on Switch yet. The really good first-party games that weren't available yet. And that is Xenoblade Chronicles X. Because yes, on March 20th of 2025, we are going to be able to play this on the Nintendo Switch, along with its brethren that we already have access to on the Nintendo Switch. Meaning that this is going to be the Xenoblade platform. Now, all we're missing is the Xenogears games, which honestly, Xenogears from the PlayStation so deserves a remake, because that game was freaking hella fun. But I don't know if we're ever going to see that. Xenogears, I have to go look upstairs. I might still have my PS1 copy of Xenogears. But let's watch Xenoblade Chronicles X, the definitive edition announcement trailer. Yeah, I know. That's why I said I don't think we're going to see a remake of Xenogears.
Well, here we are. Not too shabby, huh? For a giant beached spaceship, anyway. But, like it or not, this place is our home now. We took the name from the city it was
I think a lot of
after
people
back on
think
Earth.
this is still one of the best Xenoblades.
We call it New Los Angeles. Welcome to NLA.
Oh no, it is a huge announcement. I do agree. Because like I said, a lot of people are still insisting this is among one of the best entries in the series.
And so it was that another survivor came to join our band of refugees. Together, we resolved to forge a new way of life here on Mira, come what may.
The visuals look like they're translating well to the Switch. Now they did say the gameplay footage isn't finalized, but yeah. And I think it was beat 'em ups, right, that tweeted like, how the heck can this game look so good and Pokemon look so awful?
Truth is, we were adrift, heading into the unknown. Our native home was gone, swallowed in a shroud of light. And our future was uncertain. We had no idea what fate lay in store for us. Only that we had to keep living in order to see it.
And it's coming out at a time of the year where I might actually have time to play it. Because like obviously it's a heavy hour like time-wise RPG. But March is a good month for a big RPG like this. Because I'm actually most likely going to have time. Here. Monster Hunter looks weird. Yeah, I saw gameplay of the new Monster Hunter as well. It looks weird, but don't forget that it's a beta test, so it's not finalized. I still find it looks really fun, Monster Hunter Wilds. And I am pretty sure it's going to be coming to our next-gen console on the Switch. Like, I think the current Switch just really can't run it, but I'm pretty sure it's coming to the next-gen Switch. I'm pretty sure Capcom already has a build good to go, ready to go. They just haven't announced it yet because they're waiting on Nintendo. Oh, you thought this was Monster Hunter? No, this was Xenoblade Chronicles X, Grovel. But, yeah, so Xenoblade Chronicles X, we're not going to spend a lot of time on this announcement because everyone's been asking for it. It's coming. It was the one game that was missing from the Saga. I honestly, at this point, I think everyone thought we were going to skip the current Switch and get it for the next gen one. But hey, we're getting it for the current Switch. Why not? And it might be one of those crossover titles. There might be an upgraded version for the next Switch. Who knows? We will know further on. I'm not going to speculate on any of that because we could say that for honestly any big game coming out, I would say after January, we could say is going to be a cross-gen game and there's going to be like an upgrade for the next generation system or whatnot. Jose Cruz has just subscribed. Welcome, Jose. Welcome to the channel. Thank you for subscribing. Oakley dokely. So, let's get into IGN's review of Brothership. There's one thing that I basically forgot to open here. Yeah, here. Okay. Now,
La carte de récompense Walmart
give me a
Mastercard.
sec.
Obtenez 5% de
Stupid,
de
and
récompense
I
grâce
got
à
an
vos
ad.
Walmart préférés. Faites une demande en ligne.
Been living under a rock for the last year.
Okay. Now, we're not going to listen to his review here because I'm about to, like, poo-poo on it. So we're not going to listen to the whole review on the channel. You can listen to the review. You can read the review. I read the review. I read the written version of the review. And, like, I have some issues with what he's saying throughout the review with the score he gave at the end. And we're going to look at why. Now, as I said earlier, if you just joined the stream, I've not played Brothership yet. So what I'm saying now, I will confirm on Thursday. Thursday, we're playing the game all day. I just don't... There's such a disparity between this review and almost every other review out there that I just can't... I just can't see how they got to this score. And we're going to look, because what I'm going to show you is I'm going to try to be as neutral about this as possible. We're going to go look at IGN's own review scale and their guidelines on like their website. And I'm going to show you that if you read the review here, it doesn't match up with the score they gave it. It just doesn't match up. And what I think here happened is, look, I believe that the writer didn't like the game. But when you're reviewing a game, there always has to be a degree of detachment from your personal sentiments. And you, in my opinion, like, yes, your enjoyment of the game is part of the review, which is going to determine the difference between an 8 and a 9 or a 7 and an 8. You know what I mean? Like, your personal enjoyment of a game, in my opinion, like, if you're just talking about your personal enjoyment of a game, should have like a 1 point difference with your sort of professional opinion about the game. So what I mean is that, like, basically, if we are looking objectively at the game, that was the word I was looking for, objectively at the game, a game that scores a 7, I would say, is normal that it can score between a 6 and an 8 based on your personal enjoyment of the game. But I don't see how a game that a lot of other reviewers are scoring 8 and 9, you're scoring it a 5 because you personally didn't like it. To me, that feels like you were not objective with the game itself. You just didn't like it, and you were looking for reasons to keep not liking it. And I'm going to show you guys, like I said, other games that have gotten similar scores, meaning that Brothership, when we're going to play it on Thursday, I should be not enjoying this game as much as I didn't enjoy other games. And you're going to see why I got super pissed. If you watch the reviews on my channel of games that I've reviewed lately, you will see why I almost lost my shit when I saw a 5 out of 10. Based on what IGN has given other games. And Concord is not even the worst. There is a worse one than that. After I tweeted that initial tweet, that I saw, and I was like I was literally like, ugh. Okay. But either way, so Brothership, IGN gave it a 5 out of 10. Now, I'm going to be honest. So on some scales, a 5 out of 10 being an average game could maybe make sense. But based on how IGN reviews games, where even crappy like AAA games get like a 7 on average, this means that this is a really bad AAA game. Okay? What giving a AAA game a 5 out of 10 based on IGN's own review scale means that this is a very bad AAA game. Okay? And you will see why in 2 seconds. Okay? Let's look at this is, okay, on the IGN corporate website. This is the guidelines that they have set up to understand their review scaling. I have a similar thing on all of my review scales. I haven't written up a huge paragraph on each one of them, but I tell you guys what each number that in my review means in theory. I use it a few words. But let's go read what a 5 means. A 5 means mediocre. This is the kind of bland, unremarkable game we've mostly forgotten about a day after we finish playing it. A mediocre game isn't something you should spend your time or money on if you consider either to be precious, but they'll pass the time if you have nothing better to do. Now, you could read this and you could read the review and you could say it makes sense. But let's go read what a 7 out of 10 is. Playing a good game is time well spent. Could it be better? Absolutely. Maybe it lacks ambition, has a few technical bumps in the road, or is too repetitive. Now, if you read the person's review, these are the exact points that he makes why he does not like the game. He finds the game is slightly too repetitive. It lacks ambition compared to the other Mario games because it's repeating the formula. And it has a few technical bumps in it. This is exactly the points he's making during his review. However, he's emphasizing them very heavily. And what's funny is other outlets that reviewed the same game, and even most outlets that reviewed the same game, gave the opposite perspective on those same points. But we came away from it happy nonetheless. This is the only part that doesn't fit with a 7. Okay? And that's where I'm getting to. And we think you will too. Now, let's just look at examples of games that are 7 out of 10s by IGN's own reckoning. Yoshi's Crafted World. So they are saying that Brothership is worse than Yoshi's Crafted World. Look, I'm not going to shit on Yoshi's Crafted World, but in my opinion, it is one of the weakest first-party games we've had on the Switch. Like, if we're just talking about, we're looking at all the first-party games on the Switch, it is not the weakest, but it is definitely on the lower tier. On the lower tier. Okay? World War Z, Far Cry New Dawn, I have no problem with this. Okay? I have no problem with this. Okay, whatever. If it was here, based on what he said, I would not even have an issue. Does he have to give it a 9 like other outlets have? Oh, absolutely not. At least you would be in sort of the world where I said like the 8 is the middle ground. You personally didn't like the game that much. You give it it's around a 7. you absolutely love the game because you personally have a penchant for it, you're ending up at a 9. That's normally how you would expect it to be. And the 8s are the people who are sort of in the middle. They didn't have it's just an average review. Now let's go look at games that theoretically are supposed to be better than it. So let's take a look at what a 6 is. These recommendations come with a boatload of ifs. There's a good game in here somewhere, but in order to find it, you'll have to know where to look, and perhaps turn a blind eye to some significant drawbacks. Look at the first game on this list. Wolfenstein Youngblood. They are saying that Brothership, when I'm going to play it on Thursday, this is supposed to be worse than Wolfenstein Youngblood, which is one of the most awful games in the Wolfenstein series. Like, a heartless, awful evolution of Wolfenstein. And Brothership is, by giving it a 5, you're telling me that this game is better than Brothership. So we will see on Thursday. But this means that when I play this game, it is a less good entry in the Mario and Luigi series than Wolfenstein Youngblood was an entry in the Wolfenstein series. Like, I'm not lying. Wolfenstein Youngblood to me is like a 4 when it came out. Like, can you play it and have a good time if you buy it for like $2 on the eShop if it hits that price one day? Yeah, you could. I think I even suggested it at one point when it hit like around $5, $5 or $6. I said, look, if you're really looking for a shooter and you turn your brain off of the story, it can be an okay game. Okay? But it's like super low tier in the shooter genre. I don't agree with Medieval being here, but look, they put it here. Whatever. This means that Brothership is like Fallout 76 at launch, okay? Because be careful, Fallout 76 nowadays is actually pretty decent, but they are saying that Brothership is equivalent to Fallout 76. Now, I'm not done, okay, yet. I have other points to make here, but I'm just starting with their own review scale. By their own review scale, if you read the review, this game should have been a 6 or a 7. By the own reviewer's way of describing his experience with the game. If you read this and then you put the number next to it, it's supposed to be a 6 or a 7. Except that, and I'm saying a 6 because he did not come away happy nonetheless. Okay? But I do think he was lacking objectivity while playing the game. From the way he's describing his emotional reaction to certain things and whatnot. Okay. Now we get to the part that like almost made me lose my shit when I saw this. Let's look at all IGN's recent reviews, and I'm going to stop on a few. Okay? I'm not going to get into the Dragon Age thing tonight because I haven't played Dragon Age, so I don't want to talk about Dragon Age. And I'm most likely not going to play it anytime soon. We're talking about Brothership because, yes, I haven't played Brothership, but I am going to play it on Thursday. And like I said at the beginning of the video, if ever I wind up being wrong, I will be the first one to put out a video apology. Okay? But I don't think I'm going to be wrong. Especially regarding other outlets that I trust way more, rating the game like a 9 out of 10, which we're going to get to. Okay. Now, I'm going to skip some games that are in the same things because I just haven't played the games. So I need to reference games that are comparable to it. I need to stop on games that got similar scores or better scores that I have played or experienced. Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles: Mutants Unleashed. Brothership is supposed to be as good as one of the worst turtle games we've gotten. This is not the worst Turtles game that we've gotten. There's a worse game on this list that we're going to look at next. But they are basically telling us that Brothership is worth the same review score as Teenage Mutant Turtles Mutants Unleashed. Which, honestly, it's not unplayable. It's an extremely weak Turtles game. I would still give it a 6, not a 5. I would still give it a 6, not a 5, to be totally honest. I did not decide to play it on stream or review it because there were better games out at that period of time. I still haven't played Sonic X Shadows. And there's no way I could... Yeah, I'm going to zoom in a bit. Can I zoom in? Yeah, I can. Zoom. Where's the freaking zoom? I always forget how to zoom. That's not what I wanted to do. Hold on. There we go. Okay, here we go. This is going to be better. You're right. Visually, this is going to be way better. So Teenage Mutant Turtles Mutants Unleashed. I haven't had time to try the Care Bears game yet, Canadian chick. It's not because I didn't listen to you last week. I've just been, like, insanely busy. Okay, let's keep going here. SpongeBob SquarePants, the Patrick Star game. Brothership got the same score as my most hated game this year. The game that I have hated the most this year. And I'm telling you right away, even if the technical difficulties, because they reviewed it on PS5. So PS5 did not have the technical difficulties that we had with the Switch version. But even if you remove all those technical difficulties, the game is still bad. The game is still bad. And they are saying that Brothership got the same score as this. But we're not done yet. I know I'm losing, like, I know I'm not normally this, like, worked up about something like this, but Plucky Squire got a 7. I'm okay with that. But I'd be highly surprised that Brothership is going to be worse than Plucky Squire. And I'm not saying worse in a bad way. I think Plucky Squire is a very middle-of-the-road game in the end. I was hoping for it to be an 8 or a 9, but it really turned out to be like a 7-ish. And I'm be very surprised that Brothership has more technical difficulties than Plucky Squire has. Very surprised if it does. Where is it? There's one last one. Then I'm going to stop on this road. 2 more. Concord got a 7. Haven't played Concord, but the game didn't last 2 weeks. I heard it wasn't as bad as everyone said, but they're just basically saying that Brothership is significantly weaker than Concord. Significantly weaker. Star Wars Outlaws. A boring game by most people's accord. Filled with technical problems. Got a 7. Brothership is getting a 5. So this game should be loads worse than Star Wars Outlaws. And wait, because there's another game that I played. I thought that was the last, but no, they're giving me more here. They're giving me so much more. Where is it? Where is that Turtles review? Hold on. Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, Wrath of the Mutants Do you guys remember that boring Turtles beat 'em up that I forced myself to do a full playthrough? And once I was done with it, I was like, thank God I did a full playthrough. I don't have to play this game anymore. Apparently, it's a 6 out of 10. So, number one, I would definitely place this Turtles game under Mutants Unleashed. Okay? I can't believe that number one, Mutants Unleashed got a 5, and it should be above Wrath of the Mutants Arcade. Okay? Let's just be honest. Those two scores need to be inverted. And they are saying that Brothership is as boring as this game. Or as bad as this game. Okay? And I just want to show you that the last, bit of, nonsensical stuff. And look, Metacritic is not necessarily any better than Metacritic. Just looking at a Metacritic score is no better, okay? I'm not saying Metacritic as a whole is better. But if we look at the reviews individually on Brothership, IGN Adria, not sure which country this is from, but IGN itself, from a different country, the reviewer gave it a 9. Okay? Nintendo Life. You could say they are Nintendo biased, but trust me, Nintendo Life does very, very, I find, objective reviews of Nintendo games. And they are they specialize in Nintendo games. And when there's a bad Nintendo game, they will tell you it's bad. Trust me. 9 out of 10. Now, this is a very trusted source. Even for myself, who's a reviewer, if I don't have time to play a game and I want to know, is it worth putting my time into, I will sort of look if Nintendo Life did a review and found it okay, I'm going to be like, you know what? It's worth checking out for eShop deals. Okay? Now, I'm skipping some of these just because I personally am not familiar with the publications. Okay? But, and actually, let's just refresh this because there could be new ones that came out. Where is it? IGN Benelux. Another IGN publication gave it an 85. I don't know if you guys see, but Games Radar Plus, Eurogamer, VGC, Tech Radar, PC Mag, these are all very good publications. God is a Greek, is a geek. So, and then we get to the yellows. And like I said, I can live with a 7. I can see that this is not everyone's cup of tea, and a 7 can make sense. IGN Portugal gave it a 7. They were not here before. And then we have Digital Trends and IGN at a 50. I can't see how two critics using the same scoring chart from the same company but in different countries, one gives it a 9 and the other gives it a 5. If one gives it a 9 and the other one gives it a 7, can make sense. Yeah, we could do that. We could look at the other scores he's given. I think he's actually the guy who reviewed Plucky Squire. I think he's the guy who reviewed Plucky Squire. Let me just see. Brothership review. Let me just see if I can actually go by the reviewers' reviews. Let me just see. Luigi takes an L. Yeah. I know what else is going to take an L. Logan Plant. Reviews. Oh yeah, we can see what else he's reviewed. Okay, so let's just see what he's reviewed. So he's reviewed Brothership. He's reviewed Mario Party Jamboree. He reviewed Plucky Squire. So he played Plucky Squire, and he's saying it's worse than Plucky Squire. Okay. Super Monkey Ball Banana Rumble. What did he give Super Monkey Ball Banana Rumble? I'm not going to lie. This is a very mediocre... like, it's not a bad, but it's a very mediocre Super Monkey Ball. Where's the score? I didn't go far enough. He gave it an 8. Is this Banana Rumble? Wait, is this the last one or is this the before last one? Because that feels high. No, Banana Mania was the one I really liked. So Banana Rumble is the latest one, right? A 5 out of 10 is brutal. I feel that they just hate haters. I'd like to see the horrible games they gave 9s to. Reminds me of Noisy Pixel. Or Lazy Pixel. I don't want... honestly, I don't know. I don't want to talk about other reviewers because this is not the whole thing. Like, Princess Peach Showtime. I think he gave it an 8. If I remember IGN's score of this, it was... no, a 7. Yeah, no. This is low as shit too for Princess Peach Showtime. Showtime I wound up being a much better game than I thought it was going to be. But look, the point isn't to be mad at the dude. Like, the dude is a writer. Like, I don't want this to be a hate fest on him. Like, I just think IGN needs a way to... I think their editors need a way to, like, really... look at the reviews first and say, does this make sense? Like, I think there be like, they are because like I used to be a semi defender saying that, you know what, like they review so many games, you know, they can be off by a few points. And that's what I'm saying, like a few points, like giving a game a 7 that you would give an 8. That's fine. That's fine. I'm never going to argue with someone for that. But giving a game a 5 when most people are giving it an 8 or a 9, it's bonkers. It's like bonkers. And on top of it, he says that the game runs better in handheld mode than in dock mode. That is extremely rare for the Nintendo Switch. And I'm going to test that on Thursday. Because that is extremely rare for the Nintendo Switch, especially with first-party games. Because Nintendo actually sometimes, for some software, actually increases the clock on the GPU when you're in dock mode. Like they know the hardware and the software so good. Like they did that for Tears of the Kingdom. The Switch in dock mode is actually like slightly overclocked. From what I heard, like I didn't test it, but someone else tested that, and they said that it actually like they actually have the CPU running like slightly higher clocked than in handheld mode. So that is super rare, and it's even more rare for a first party game that it runs better in handheld mode than in dock mode. Needless Dragon with a $5 donation. I stopped paying attention to IGN a long time ago. Thanks for the honest reviews, Rick. Never change, just for the better. Yeah, I'm going to try to always get better and better. And look, one day I'm most likely going to fuck up a review. It's going to happen. Like, and when it happens, you guys need to call me on it, and I will re-evaluate the review. I can't promise I would change it, but I would re-evaluate. Like if I come out with a review and everyone's giving it like a 9 and I gave it like a 6, or vice versa, I give a game a 9 and everyone's giving it like a 6, I would be the first to like be like, really? Did I not enjoy that much? Or maybe was I too subjective with it? My answer would be maybe I was too subjective with the game. Like Patrick Star, I gave it a 2. if I was less annoyed by the fact that the game made me physically sick, could I have given it a 3 or a 4? Maybe. For the moment, I still stand by my 2. But could it have been a 3 or a 4? Maybe. Maybe if I would have waited a little bit longer and 2 was a fair score. Yeah, Frenchie Mob was sick that night too. So she knows the pain firsthand. But look, I'm done shitting on IGN. I just was so like amazed by a 5 out of 10. And like I said, we're gonna figure it out on Thursday, but like whew, I think that this is going to be a review that might actually hurt IGN's credibility for a long time for a lot of people. And the problem is, lately, they've had a lot of those pretty close together. Concord 7. A lot of people right now are saying Veil Guards 9. Black Myth Wukong's 8. A lot of people are saying that one's too low, and the review was really poking at stuff that wasn't true about the game, or like, you know, like identity politics and stuff like that. I think, like I said, that the reviewers need to maybe submit their reviews to like an editor first, who can maybe like. And they must have an editing process. Like, I can't believe they don't have an editing process where the editor says, like does a sort of, like, spot check on the review, and they're like, really? Really? Well, they gave it an 8, so it's not like they gave it a bad score. It's just, I think what they said about it in the review was got some people annoyed. I'm not sure if they're the ones who said that there were no women in the game, but like, there's a lot of female characters in the game. They're just late into the game, so it showed that the reviewer probably only played the first quarter of the game or something like that. But yeah, okay. Look, we're done shitting on IGN for tonight. We did it. I let it all out, and we will return on this next week. It won't be as big of a segment, but after I played the game, I will say, was I right to shit on them tonight, or was I wrong to shit on them tonight? Okay? That's what we will do next week when we come back, when we circle back to, like, was I right or was I wrong? Whew. Okay. Now, we've got all that stuff out of the way, and Topaz is such a pain in the neck tonight. Like, she keeps walking in front of me. It's better than when I'm gaming, because it doesn't really matter. But it's just like, I just want her to, like, sit down or stop pacing. By the way, I've been cheating on the Switch. I've been playing some PS5 this week. I've been playing Black Ops 6. It was double XP weekend, and I couldn't help myself. We had to play some Black Ops 6. I'm probably gonna put it aside now for a little while, but I just have to be honest with all of you guys. I cheated on the Switch this week. Wait for OpenCritic. Yeah, I honestly, I've been trusting OpenCritic a lot more lately as well. The only thing I don't like about OpenCritic, and maybe I just didn't find the option on the site, is that it's hard to divide the reviews up by console. On Metacritic, it's very easy to go in and say, I want only the Switch reviews. While in OpenCritic, it seems to condense them all together, and I haven't found a way to only look at the average score for a specific console. The whole Ziff Media umbrella is pretty scary. Yeah, but honestly, I don't think it would trickle down to the individual reviewers. Like, to be totally honest, would it be maybe a media culture thing? Possibly. could it bleed into like certain games that have paid publishing money? Like reviewers are maybe encouraged to give favorable reviews, maybe. But if that's true, and IGN and Nintendo Life are both owned by Ziff Media and they're controlling the reviews, how does Nintendo Life come out at 9 and IGN come out at 5? Do you see what I mean? And I'm not saying that it's not, there isn't somewhat of it. I'm just saying that those things would be, where it's scary is that it could be affecting like the corporate culture type structure, but it's not going to make its way down to the individual employee. And like if you've worked for a big company, you'll know that the big boss at the top doesn't have time to start speaking to reviewers individually. And not only that, it would be way too much of a risk PR wise to actually like have memos go out or official, like, how can I explain this? The big boss is never going to come down and say, we were paid money to give this game a good review. Give the game a good review or you're fired. Why? Because if they would make that statement officially and whatever in any way that anyone could prove, any disgruntled employee when they leave would spill the beans. Do you understand? And the fact that these companies have been around for so many years and no one has concrete proof that they have paid for reviews. Think of how many people don't work there anymore or went on to other jobs or changed companies or started their own companies. Someone would have spilt the beans eventually with actual factual proof. Do you understand what I mean? So I'm not saying that there isn't a corporate culture problem, that maybe there are certain subtle encouragements when games are paying money, like trips, like, oh, if we, like, look, I myself have lost deals with companies because they gave me a review code and I gave their game like a fair review when they were expecting me to give it like a 9 out of 10 or 10 out of 10 because they were giving me early access to their game. You understand? In their mind, they're giving me early access to the game. You have to give it a good score. And because I gave it a fair review, like, they didn't give me the game next time, or they didn't want to do a sponsored content anymore, or things like that. Or because they're paying for sponsored content, but I'm not going to say that the game is amazing when the game is so-so, they didn't come back to me after that for more sponsorships. Do you understand? Because I try to be, to me, like, the integrity of what I say in the channel is more important. Obviously, when I say something is sponsored, you guys have to expect that there's stuff I can say, stuff I can't say. But I'm not going to go to the point of saying this is the best game ever when it's an average game. Do you understand? I'll emphasize what's good about the game without maybe pointing out what's bad about the game if I'm saying it's sponsored. Okay, by the way, I'm sort of explaining like sponsored. What I will do is, like, if they come to me and they say, look, Rick, we want you to talk about our game. These are the good things about the game. We get some footage for it and show them the good stuff. I'm going to get the footage and I'm going to show you guys the good stuff without necessarily talking about the bad stuff. Do you understand? But it's going to be clear that it's sponsored. And what that means is there's maybe some bad stuff, guys, that I can't talk to you guys about. Do you understand? That's the way, like, sponsored content works. But if someone's giving me a review code, I will never call it just like a review. Understand? And I actually lost a sponsor last month because I told them I wasn't going to call it a review. They wanted to pay for me to review something, and I said I can call it a, like, you guys can choose. I can sort of call it a feature, or I can just call it like a neutral title, like, hey, this is my new favorite GameCube controller or something like that, because it was. You understand what I mean? But I'm not going to call it a review. And they pulled out because I wasn't going to call it a review. And I said, well, I can't call something a review if you're paying me to review it. Like, it doesn't make sense. And I even offered them a second option where I said, give it to me for free, the item. I'll review it my normal way. And then if you guys want me to, I can put, if you guys want to pay me to put sponsored ads in some of my videos, where then I just focus on the positive stuff as an ad, I'll do that. Do you understand? Like, and they didn't want that either. So I was like, okay, well, look, I guess we can't find any middle ground that makes sense. But yeah, that's the fun and hard part of being a channel, and especially because I'm a smaller channel. Like, they try to bully you sometimes a little more because they know that some of the smaller channels are like desperate, where they want, you know, they want sponsorships, they want money because it's harder to get right now. But, you know, like, I'm not gonna risk the long-term long-term, how can I say, of you guys trusting me, like, for my short-term, like, to buy an extra Christmas gift for my wife this year. Like, it's just something. Yeah. Anyway, okay, let's shift gears, guys. Integrity, that's the word I was looking for. Thank you so much. Okay. Anyway, I'm not gonna keep, like, you know, saying, but just, you know, little peek behind the veil sometimes of the sort of crappy parts or stuff that sometimes is less fun or whatnot. And what that means is I have to do a lot of content for free, because if I want to do reviews on anything, I have to ask for no money to do it. And I have to hope that if they like my review enough, they'll pay me after to place their controllers or their stuff in other ads. But guess what? Because I'm a smaller channel, they're just glad they got a free review out of me, and they move on after. So hopefully when I get back to, when we get bigger, then they'll come back to me because they'll want me to place the ads in my videos after. You know, like beat 'em ups with his Satisfy grips. I reviewed the grip for free. That's all I got. Okay. Now let's talk about the new Switch games for this week. So we've actually got a relatively quieter week on the Nintendo Switch, but we've got some really good games coming out this week. And we're actually starting with probably one of my top picks for this week, if not my top pick for this week, which is Metal Slug Tactics, which is coming out on November 5th, which is in 8 minutes, theoretically. And it is going to be selling for $24.99. And honestly, that is, considering the games that have come out lately, that feels like a very, very fair price for a known IP with what looks like to be a pretty quality game. Now, we did watch this trailer last week. We're still going to watch it again, but it is the Metal Slug series done as a tactical RPG that looks a lot like the classic Final Fantasy Tactics, although obviously with machine guns and modern weaponry. So let's take a look at the trailer, and we'll give our thoughts after. Every time I look at this, it looks better and better. Like, I'm just hoping with all the delays and all the issues that they possibly had during development that it doesn't come out in a bad state. But if it comes out in a good state, look, every time I look at this trailer, it looks better and better, meaning that I'm even probably more excited about it today than I was last week. Yeah, it looks really clean. It looks really fun. I'm hoping the storyline is fun and lighthearted and upbeat like Metal Slug is, while at the same time giving us a lot of tactical options. Overall, I am very hyped for this game. I have some high hopes. We will figure out tomorrow if it is good or not. But if you've been waiting around, awesome game. I think it's going to be an awesome game. I think it's going to be an awesome game. And I cannot wait for it. But we talked about this one last week, so I'm not going to spend way more time on it than this. Let's move to our next game, which is actually another game that I am relatively interested in for this week. Next, we have River City Saga, The Three Kingdoms Next. Now, this is a take on the River City franchise, but done in like basically, you know, ancient Chinese times or like the Three Kingdoms era. As a RPG beat 'em up, it's like really funky. And I chose the long trailer because since we don't have that many games this week, we can actually take the time to watch the 3-minute trailer. And it actually gives a lot of information about the beat 'em up. And talking about beat 'em ups, after we're done with the new games, there is something I want to talk to you all about, and I want to bounce the idea off of you all. And but first, let's watch the trailer here and see how it's being developed by Arc System Works. So you know that they know what they're doing in the genre. They're the ones who brought us River City Girls and all those remakes of those awesome franchises.
Told through slapstick comedy. River City Saga, Three Kingdoms Next. 2,000 years ago, in the lands of China, 3 major forces battled to rule the continent. Liu Bei's good heart earns him the stalwart support of the people. Sun Quan's bravery never falters in daunting battles. And Cao Cao, the ultimate rival with overwhelming military prowess.
I missed out on the first
story
one, that
picks up
means.
after the Battle of Red Cliffs, as the tale of the Three Kingdoms soars to the dramatic climax. The River City series is known for its wealth of powerful special attacks. This game features a skill tree for learning moves. Gain skill points to unlock a whole arsenal of new attacks. Learning certain special attacks can lead to even more devastating ultimate attacks. Seek out these hidden techniques.
Like, honestly, the combat for the pixel art style looks
spectacular military
amazing.
tactics from the Three Kingdoms tales. Pull a tactic out at crucial moments to make it through tough battles. Defeat enemies to gain experience and level up, powering up your stats. Customize your build to maximize your potential. Enemies can drop equipment on defeat.
Oh, yeah, I'm watching on IGN's. Yeah, it's because they're the only one that had the extended trailer.
Keep an eye out for
I ain't
pickups.
supporting IGN. We have no choice. They're the ones who published the trailer. We're supporting the publisher of
Take
the
a
game.
ride on Red Hair with this brand new game mechanic. Summon Red Hair to ride through waves of enemies and cruise through stages in style. Completing quests can unlock new parts for
Like,
Red
honestly,
Hair.
this seems crazy deep for a beat 'em up.
Try on some stylish parts to deck your red hair out. Certain parts can even evolve red hair into new forms. You'll have to see for yourself. Get some help making your way through the game with co-op play.
So we have
Work
2-player
together with
co-op. I
family
was
or
hoping
even
maybe
a
that would be
long-distance
more,
friend
but
to overcome challenges
2
together.
players better than none.
Join Kunio to wreak havoc in the wacky world of the Three Kingdoms. Simple controls lead to exhilarating action, taking down hordes of enemies. River City Saga, Three Kingdoms, next!
So there we have it. River City Saga, Three Kingdoms next. I forgot to say, this one's coming out on November 6th, so not tomorrow, but on Wednesday. And this one's going to be $29.99. At $29.99. It's actually pretty fair. It's coming out about at the same price as River City Girls when it first launched, if I'm not mistaken. Obviously not the physical, but the digital version. But honestly, it looks like it could be a ton of fun, and there's a lot of deep mechanics here. So you know what? I was pleasantly surprised, and that means I missed out on the first one. So I'll have to check out the first one after this. But definitely, if you're into beat 'em ups, this is one I would check out for. And until we get Power Rangers on December 10th, this could fill in the gap if you're like a beat 'em up fan that needs their beat 'em up fix. This and actually the game I played last week on stream is pretty freaking fun. So this is November 6th. Now, right away, we are jumping over to November 7th. And look, let's get it out of the way right away. We have Mario and Luigi Brothership. Now, this is the 5-minute trailer. I'm not going to play the whole thing, okay? Because we've talked about Brothership a ton. If you don't know that Brothership is coming out this week and you're a Nintendo fan, you've been living under a rock, this game is going to be a full-priced $59.99, and it's coming out on Thursday. So let's take a... I'll play the trailer, low sound in the background. But basically, it is a follow-up to the Mario and Luigi Saga that we used to have on the different mobile devices. So, you know, best known for the GBA entries, but it continued on the DS and 3DS as well. Bowser's Inside Story is probably one of the latest entries in the saga. And now we're getting Brothership, which is going to have us sailing around on a ship to different islands. And basically, that turn-based RPG combat system, which is evolved with, you know, co-op play with between the two characters. So, let's just look a bit ahead. A lot of people have been complaining about the graphical style. Personally, I have no issues with it. It's reminding me somewhat almost of Wind Waker in some ways. But obviously with the colors that are more usual from the Mario franchise. And I'm really looking forward to playing this one on Thursday. This is why I'm going through this one a little bit quick, because I don't think anyone really needs to know this game is coming out, in the sense that you most likely already know if you're a Nintendo fan. So obviously you're going to have a bunch of brother moves that you're going to be able to perform when you're together. And obviously some great activated mechanics during the combat systems, which, like I said, just like Mario RPG, the series is known for. You're gonna have to dodge, you're gonna have to do you know, be on point all the time during combat. It looks like a 9. No, I think it looks like a 5, guys. This looks like a 5. But yeah, so we have Brothership coming out on November 7th, and I think it's going to be good. I can't wait to play it on Thursday. We are going to be playing it firsthand. I hope you guys stop in. So if you're watching this video later, full day live stream. Obviously, you might not be able to stop in all day, but it's my birthday stream. Stop in and say hi. Give the video a like, and you know, I'll appreciate anyone just stopping by and saying happy birthday on Thursday. Okay, let's move on. Now we're going to get into slightly less known games. And this is my risk game for this week. When I say risk, it's that I really don't know what to think about this game. But I feel like if you want to take a chance, this feels like a game that could have some high payoff for some very low risk. It is called Mamoto. And we're going to watch the trailer because it's hard to describe. But it is a card-based deck builder game. The crazy thing is it's releasing for only $3.99. And that's why I said the risk is very low here, but the possible reward could be very high. Because although it's hard to tell exactly from the trailer, the gameplay doesn't seem like it matches up with one of those $3.99 games. Now, I couldn't find a trailer on YouTube. I had to use the trailer from the eShop, and this is the UK eShop, so don't look at the price here. It is $3.99 in the US. And obviously, the graphical quality is always a little lower when you're running the trailer from the eShop. Like, it even looks like like a tabletop game. And I'm a huge fan of tabletop games, like in like everyday life. Like, I wish I had time to play Warhammer and stuff. But seriously, I feel like this one could be a surprise release for this week. For $3.99, it could turn out to be one of those games that you're like, dang, it's fun. Do I expect this to be like a game of the year or like a game that's going to last 50 hours? Most likely not, but it might be a fun little pickup for an extremely budget price. I hope I have time to play this one. I'm definitely going to try it out. I just don't know if I'm going to try it out this week. Nintendo will sue. I don't think so because Miyamoto Musashi had it way before Miyamoto did here for Mario. I don't think they can sue for a name that's been around for thousands of years probably. Or at least hundreds of years. Okay, next. We come to November 7th once again with Borrame Outpost. Now this one, however, is $24.99. We're going to read the little blurb here. Explore Nova Aurora in Borrame Outpost, the newest game from Euphoria co-creator Rudolf Kremers. Inspired by classic 70s and 80s sci-fi, Borrame Outpost is a 2D sci-fi action-adventure game dedicated to exploration, experimentation, emergent gameplay, and narrative. Its unique photography-based approach to non-linear exploration and action gameplay offers a fresh take on the Metroidvania gameplay. Now, we're not going to read the rest because it's a pretty long blurb, but it is a Metroidvania that did look interesting. I've said it last week and I've said it the last couple of weeks. We are getting flooded with Metroidvanias, however, so it is starting to get harder to recommend them because they really have to offer something unique to stand out. But still, I think it's worth taking a look at. It's like a mix of Metroidvania meets Pokemon Snap. Like, it's weird. It's weird, but it just might be weird enough to be fun. Like, it seems to be all strategy and puzzle gameplay, where you basically have to use the knowledge you get on the different, like, organisms to manipulate them into, like, letting you access the areas. And that's why I say it might be just weird enough to be fun. My only fear is that I'm wondering if the gameplay is going to feel too slow. Now, it depends what you're looking like for an experience. My hesitation here is like, am I just going to get fed up of always having to do a puzzle for everything? Because it seems like everything is a puzzle. And yes, I forgot to mention, there is a demo available on Steam. I did not see one on the eShop, but I could be mistaken. I didn't see one when I was looking for it quickly, but there is one available on Steam. And since most people most likely have access to a computer, if you are on the fence, it is sometimes worth picking up a demo on Steam, seeing what the game looks like, and then popping over to the Switch to buy it. Like, I do that often when games offer demos on Steam, but don't on the Switch. And it's something that I think you should take advantage of when you do have the option. So, honestly, a interesting game on the 7th, but maybe not my top game for this week, definitely, but one in consideration if you seem to be more of a strategy puzzle player and you want one, you'd like to see one in a Metroidvania format. Now, we've actually got a few shmups this week. Shmups, for those who are unfamiliar, is a shoot 'em up. So, and we have a couple of different styles of shoot 'em ups too, which is why we actually have a few to look at. Now, the first one is going to be on November 7th as well. It is Angel at Dusk, and this one will be selling for $14.99, and it does have a free demo available on the Nintendo Switch eShop. So you can actually try the demo out directly on the eShop. I will be trying it out. It has a very interesting graphical design to it. And let's watch the trailer first, and I'll go a little deeper into the thoughts on it, because you need to see it to talk about it more. It has like a freaky design. It has like a crazy horror themed design, but at the same time it feels like extremely colorful, like a Japanese arcade style shmup. It's like bullet hell shmup. It's like pretty crazy. The one thing that I hate about the trailer, though, is they put writing over the visuals. Like, can you please stop? Can I just see the gameplay without having, like, freaking huge writing over all the visuals? Like, it's, oh my god, it's, I have the game somewhere, like, right here.
Angel at Dusk. released by Kirigoya, known for Still Vampire. And
Oh, wait. It's Blasphemous the Shmup. That's what I was looking for the title of the game. It's Blasphemous the Shmup. That's basically what that game makes me think of. But seriously, this is just a comment for like whoever made the trailer. Like, this game is going to sell based on visuals. How can you keep putting like huge lettering above the visuals when we're trying to see the game? Like, your visuals are going to sell the game for you, not all this text. Like, please, dude, please just give us a text-free visual trailer and the game will sell itself for you. You don't need to explain every screen and all this stuff. Or if you do, like... It just like it just drove me nuts watching this trailer. Like, it's now like 3 or 4 times that I'm watching it, and it drives me nuts how like all these beautiful visuals are being hidden by the thing. But yeah, the visuals look crazy about this one. So if you're a shmup fan, I'm a shmup fan, like, you know that visuals are a big part of the experience, and this one looks like it has it. And not a lot of shmups go for this like horror themed design. But yeah, okay. So, Angel at Dusk, free demo on the eShop, $14.99, coming out on November 7th. Now, we're going to go to another game on November 7th, because it's my birthday, man. All the best stuff happens on my birthday, so, you know, what the heck. Economix, okay? Once again, this is a city builder. Okay, this time around. Now, this one is coming out on November 7th. It'll be selling for $19.99. And basically, Economix is a quirky blend of roguelike action and city building. Build your gnome village atop mystical caves filled with resources and strange creatures. Unlock new buildings, upgrades, and gnomes to make every adventure a unique experience. Let's take a look.
I was crazy for believing in treasure. They called me a madman, a fool, someone
I like
who
the
needs to
graphics of
shower
this
more.
one. I like the presentation.
But I know it's real, and I'm gonna find it. Now, I knew I couldn't do it alone, but there was no point hunting for gold if I had to pay my workers to find it. So with the help of some indecipherable fine print, I got gnomes to sign up for the treasure fund, and we got to work. However, I didn't just need lots of workers, I needed good workers. So I had my gnomes double up on their working hours with unpaid training. You know what they say, it's not working hard, it's working smart, but also hard. But the deeper we got, the more I realized not every gnome was up to the task. So I had to make the painful decision to employ qualified and expensive professionals. Just when I was thinking maybe my work is done, I realized these gnomes were too stupid to understand how to work together. So I had to find ways to combine their skills for maximum efficiency and minimal cost. That's when I realized that sending gnome after gnome to their place of work was only gonna get me so far. I needed to think bigger. Bigger than a gnome. Bigger than a house. I needed a city. So after renegotiating a few contracts and writing even more indecipherable fine print, I had me an industry supply chain that was worth its weight in gold.
Exactly.
Not that I'd ever pay for it.
If you've played...
We tried time and time and time again.
Just quickly, it reminds me a lot of SteamWorld Build. If you've played SteamWorld Build, this actually feels like it has a lot in common with that game.
And we kept failing, but every time we got a little deeper. And I knew eventually that precious treasure would be all mine.
So honestly, I like city building. It's one of those gameplay styles that I like, especially when I want to like relax, because often it's a lot less stressful. It's a lot more, you know, sitting back, relaxing, quiet type of gameplay. And it looks like a fun, and it looks like it has just enough tension to nonetheless keep you like excited because sometimes like pure city builders or park builders like 2 Point Hospital or 2 Point Campus, like you can sort of get fed up because there's like no tension in the gameplay because it's really just about building. This one does seem, with its roguelike elements, to push you to go a little, a little faster, a little deeper, control your gnomes digging. Like I said, if you've ever played SteamWorld Build though, I would maybe start with SteamWorld Build first. So if you're looking for a game like this, and I rarely do this when we're talking about new games for the Switch, but SteamWorld Build is actually really fun and probably underrated, and it's almost the same price as this one. I would actually maybe start with that one, and if you enjoy it, Economix could actually be a second option. Or if you've already played SteamWorld Build and you're looking for something else in the genre, this could be really fun. But I definitely wanted to highlight this one because it stood out for this week. I'm glad we're getting those sim city builders with new subgenres out. And this can be a really interesting direction to take it in. So that is November 7th. Now we have one game left for November 7th. And it is going to be Popcorn Rocket. Now, this is a game, once again, it's one of my riskier games for this week, or one of my like highlight games that probably a lot of people are not going to take a deeper look at, but I think is worth taking a deeper look at. And this game really sells itself, at least for me, it sells itself on vibes. And it is another shoot 'em up for this week. So another shmup for this week, but with a much more cartoony look to it, a much more traditional look to it. But at the same time, it has a comedic storyline that it's trying to push. And like I said, I think if you pick this game up, it'll be on the vibes that the game is going to give to you. It sells for only $4.99. So it's another scenario where it's low risk, high potential reward for this one. So let's take a look and you'll see what I'm talking about when I'm talking about vibes. Like this is obviously a play on Star Wars to start. Like you've got your TIE fighters. You've got your TIE fighter, like, and your flying pie.
My name's Colonel, captain of the Popcorn Rocket. Your favorite
I'm gonna be quiet
mercenaries
because I
for
want
hire,
to get the
delivering
dialogue.
buttery popcorn goodness to a galaxy near you.
I'm Shipman Butters, second in command and expert battle strategist of shooting first and asking the questions later.
Weapon systems recharged and ready to pop, Colonel. Engineer Salt Shaker at your service.
And I'm Navigator Nachos, official navigator of the Popcorn Rocket. Take avocado action. Evasive action.
Let's get ready to crumble.
Like the gameplay still looks very solid. It's more of a classical style, but with enough comedic value to like make it its own. And the visuals, at the right moments, the visuals look pretty amazing.
And I'm here to clog your arteries.
Like this is obviously a take on Cobra
accept
Commander.
challenge for a duel. Popcorn to baguette. It's settled then. Salt versus sweet.
Enough talk! It's time for the final order of the day!
We'll see who becomes mush when this is all over, you oversized bucket brain.
We have more. So, and that's what I love about quieter weeks on the Nintendo Switch eShop. It's that a busy week with like 22 games that I need to cover, this one would have been lost in translation. I would have never had the time to take a look at it, or I would have never been able to like have the time to cover all the games and this one. But a quieter week, this one has a chance to stand out, and I find it's a standout title. If you look at it and you find out that it's only $4.99, and I'm sorry, this game feels like it has soul. That's what sold it to me, is that the game feels like it has soul. The developers knew what they wanted to do. They wanted to deliver a humoristic shmup game, and they went all in on it. So honestly, very, very interesting pickup for this week. I would definitely recommend it if you're a shmup fan, or just if you want like a more retro-styled, laid-back game for this week. Okay, and now our last game is going to be a Jetpack Kiwi, which is a side-scrolling shmup coming to us on November 8th. And this one is also pretty cheap. It is at $5.99. It looks good, but it maybe doesn't have me as convinced as the previous game. But I still think it's worth taking a look at, because if you prefer side-scrolling shmups, this one has a totally different gameplay style to it. And it also offers co-op play, which is something that can be really fun for this style of game. And at $5.99, it's once again pretty low on the risk factor. And it's pretty hard to get a shmup wrong. I say that, but some people have managed to get them wrong. The one thing that maybe about this one had me less sold is the gameplay looks a little bit more generic. Okay, it does look a little more generic though. It's once again managing though to get me interested based on the visuals and the interesting character designs, but at the same time the gameplay looks much more generic. Like, and now it's my like third time seeing the trailer. I'm getting it more. But there still might be enough to deliver like a fun experience here. Jetpack Kiwi. And that, ladies and gentlemen, was our last new Nintendo Switch game to highlight for this week. Is this an exhaustive list? No, it is not. There are some other games coming out this week. But the other ones either were in categories of games that I just don't want to promote, like, you know, hentai games and stuff like that. Or they were in genres that simply, it's extremely hard to tell from a trailer if the game's going to be good, like a visual novel or something like that. But unless it comes from like a known property or a known IP. But that was pretty much the standout games to me for this week on the Nintendo Switch. And it's pretty fun because, like I said, we have a couple of very definitely bigger name titles. But then we also had time this week to cover a few like games that I think it's worth taking a chance on. I'm going to repeat Mamoto. I don't know why. I have a feeling that the gameplay might be better than the price and the trailer is letting on. But I can't swear for it because it's hard. But the two shmups, though, I would definitely say among my favorite are Popcorn Rocket and Angel at Dusk. Angel at Dusk at $15, though, is in a price category for shmups that puts it with some really big names. So it has to really deliver to be worth it. River City Saga 3 Kingdoms as well, I think definitely. And obviously Mario and Luigi Brothership, well, we'll figure out on Thursday if it's a 5. I'm still not like getting over that one. But okay, so that was pretty much it for the new games for this week, guys. Pretty okay week, but a little bit more quieter than usual on the Nintendo Switch eShop. Okay, now that we have that done, yeah, don't worry. Any idea what I'm streaming on Friday? Still not at this point. I still have no idea. The two idea, well, no idea. The two thoughts I'm having is, number one, if I haven't had time to stream Sonic yet, do I stream Sonic X Shadow? Exactly, like Champ just wrote in the chat. Sonic X Shadow. Or numero dos is, do I try to get a copy of Metal Slug Tactics and play Metal Slug Tactics? I'll explain to you why I'm hesitating for Metal Slug Tactics. I think it's going to be a game that is going to be long to set up in the beginning. You know what I mean? Like a tactical strategy RPG rarely starts out with a lot of action. Like you're going to have to learn the mechanics. You're going to have to unlock the characters. You're going to have to... You get what I mean? Like, it would be like... you could do the entire Shadow content on stream. Maybe, yeah. Maybe we could do the entire Shadow content. Because I know it's not that long. Like, the game isn't that long, and I think you're right. We could do it all on stream. That is a possibility. But I will think about it till Friday, okay? Till Friday, I'll think about it, and you never know. I sometimes get, I can sometimes get a review code where I'm allowed to play a game that isn't out yet, like that they don't embargo or something like that. So that could always come along between now and Friday as well. But yeah, so. Either way, I'll figure out something for Friday. Now, I did want to talk to you, though, about the other idea that I had, and I want to know what you guys think about it. We're getting to we all know, to the end of the Nintendo Switch life cycle. And there's something I didn't do last year that I really want to get back to doing, and that is doing top 10 lists. Especially now that we're getting to the end of the Switch's life cycle, we're going to be in the ultimate top 10 lists for the Switch. When I mean ultimate lists, it's that when no more new games are coming out, we are going to be able to make the final top 10 lists for beat-em-ups, 2D platformers, 3D action games, 2D action games, and so forth. Like, there's a bunch of categories that we can do: horror games, survival games, strategy games, blah, 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 blah. RPGs, it's unending. Now, here's my idea. Either separately or sometimes during our Monday night podcast, if it's a quieter week for news, I was wondering if we would do a live top 10 list where we, as a group, everyone who shows up to chat, build a top 10 list together. And I'll explain to you how, like, I would go about it. I would put up like a document whiteboard. You know what I mean? Like, basically, process is, like, step one, we brainstorm. And anyone who has a game in the category that they think has a shot at top 10, we put it on the board. So I'll give you an example. Beat 'em ups, okay? I put Streets of Rage 4. I put Shredder's Revenge. Annie, you scream out like Fighting Rage. We put Fighting Rage. Someone else mentions River City Girls. We put River City Girls. Basically, step one, the brainstorm phase, nothing is off the table. If you honestly think there's a game that should have a shot about the discussion of top 10, you give the game, we put it on the whiteboard. Step two, we then try to make massive removals of games. So once we have the whiteboard filled with everyone's ideas and we aren't coming up with ideas anymore, what we would then do is like, I'll give you an example. Let's say we look at the board and we're like, do we want to include collections? If we don't include collections, we eliminate them all. If we do include collections, well, we leave them there. Like we try to illuminate like maybe like groups of games. And then in the final, before final phase, then we really start comparing two games together. We take two games that are sort of like not sure they should be in the top 10, and we decide, is there any one of the games or even both of the games we should remove, till we get to 10 games that make up the top 10. And then obviously in the final phase, we order the top 10. We choose which one we assign number 10, 9, 8, 7, 6. And obviously we're going to try to do it as a group. You know, there might be sometimes that I have to make a judgment call and say like, look guys, I'm taking this game out because we have to get to 10. You know what I mean? But what do you guys think about that idea? Does that sound like something that could be fun? I won't lie. It'll like the whole process I'm talking about will probably take like an hour. And just to explain to you guys, that's how I do my top 10 lists. I start by brainstorming all the games that I want to consider. Then I sort of take a judgment call of, okay, I have like 30 games and I need to make my way down to 10. You know, I think it sounds fun. I think it really sounds fun. And obviously we can test it out in one category, and then if it works well, we do it for others. If it doesn't work well, it was worth trying, but you know, it's sort of, it ends there. And then basically once we have the top 10, I would make a video about it. You know, like the week after or within the next 2 weeks after we make the top 10, I would make the official top 10 video. And so people always have the choice to watch the stream or to just like, you know, watch the end result of the top 10 video. But I think it would be fun, and it'll allow me to come up with games that maybe normally I would have forgotten, because chances are one of you guys will remember the game, like especially when we get to Metroidvanias where there are so many, like you have no idea how some categories are scary to do just because, and Metroidvania is one of the best categories to do that with. It's like every time you turn around, there's another one you forgot about. And you're like, okay, I didn't even consider it. Now, is it better than any of the games there? Yeah, but like Ori, Hollow Knight, the Prince of Persia 2, the Lost Crown, Ori 2, like Metroid Dread, my God, like I'd have like honestly, I you know me and titles, like I'm freaking awful with titles. But if I just look here, Blasphemous, yeah, we're like, I do 2D Metroidvania separate from 3D because like I'm like Metroid Prime is theoretically a Metroidvania, although it's a 3D Metroidvania. But like basically when I did Metroidvanias the last time, Bloodstained, Ritual of the Night, yeah, the Castlevania collection, yeah, the latest Castlevania Dominus collection, Salt and Sanctuary, but you guys get it, like for about 10 minutes, that's what we're going to do. We do a list and we write down all the names and blah, blah. We're going to stop now because like I can keep going and going, and I'm looking, like I can look at my collection and I'm like one out of every like 4 games could be considered a Metroidvania. So it's like Gris. Anyway, you guys get the idea, but I think it would be something fun to try. I really think it would be fun to try. Is Shovel Knight Metroidvania? I wouldn't call if we're talking about the traditional Shovel Knights, I wouldn't call the traditional Shovel Knights a Metroidvania. And I'm trying to think, even Shovel Knight Dig would be a roguelike, which is a different category. But look, it's guaranteed we're forgetting some. Greek could be one. Ghosts and Goblins, no, I would say that Ghosts and Goblins is more an action, 2D action platformer. I would say it's a 2D action platformer. And that, like I said, that's why sometimes judgment calls, and it can be a discussion. Someone can say, oh, I consider it a Metroidvania because of this element. But Ghosts and Goblins, the reason I wouldn't call it a Metroidvania is that you don't need to unlock any ability to get access to any other part of the game. You know what I mean? You just have to progress through the levels that get gradually more difficult. But, the only game, and for example, some people are like, oh, is Mega Man a Metroidvania? No, it's not, because yes, there is a preferred order, but you don't have to do the preferred order. You can beat any one of the bosses with the Mega Buster, meaning that it's a precursor to the Metroidvania idea, where unlocking certain upgrades will make you more powerful in certain other parts of the game, but it's not a Metroidvania, because a Metroidvania to me is defined by you have to get this upgrade to get access to this other part of the map. You have to do this to allow you to do that. And your character will become more powerful. Axiom Verge 2. But as you can see, either way, if we do that night, I'll be honest, you'll see me bending over and I'll go in my collection and I'll call out names that we'll put on the list from it. Morbid in the Seven Acolytes, that it's a top-down. Yes, someone could argue that Zelda, the classic Zeldas are Metroidvanias, but I would keep them separate into I would actually make Zelda likes its own category. I would make Zelda likes its own category. What did you miss? You missed everything, Tagade, man. We're winding down. Owlboy. Owlboy is a Metroidvania. Owlboy is definitely a Metroidvania. I'm trying to look here. I'm terrible at trying to come up with titles. And the thing is, there's no category for this. Oh my god, I was forgetting Guacamelee 1 and 2, The Messenger, Mummy Demastered, Shantae and Pirate's Curse, most of the Shantae games. I wouldn't include Dead Cells on it, even though it could theoretically be one. I wouldn't include it because I'll put Dead Cells in the roguelike category. Blaster Master, Iconoclasts, Yoku's Island Express, Cave Story Plus, Monster Boy in the Cursed Kingdom, Wonder Boy. I'm looking just through my list of games that I own, by the way. I'm looking through my Excel sheet, so I'm instead of bending down and going through it, why don't I just look through my Excel sheet? Gato Roboto, I said Blasphemous, La Mulana, Carry On, Shantae and the Seven Sirens. Well, let's just say all the Shantae games. I'm not going to start with all of them. Alwa's Legacy, Astalon, Tears of the Earth, Narita Boy, Ender Lilies. I think someone said Ender Lilies. Record of Lodos War, D-Lit and Wonder Labyrinth. Islets, Pronti, Disney Illusion Island, 9 Years of Shadows, Wordless, Blasphemous 2, but I said Blasphemous 1, so that goes together. Animal Well, Bow Path of the Teal Lotus. I just played it this year. It was pretty freaking awesome. Yeah, so like I said, when it'll be time to do it, I'll do a little bit of prep work to make sure that I'll do a little bit of the prep work. By the way, thank you so much for the $1.99. By the way, man, Tagate, so appreciated. Sorry about that. I answered your question, but I didn't thank you. But yeah. So that was the idea I wanted to talk to you guys about. I'm glad you guys like it. I think it was a good idea to do it together communally, and I think it'll come up with some interesting options that I wouldn't have come up with on my own, and even some interesting discussions where maybe the list would be different than I would if I would have done it as with my own. And I feel that we've grown through the Switch together. It's only just right that the final top 10 lists comes not just from me, but from you guys as well. You know what I mean? Like, we've been on a Switch journey for like 3 or 4 years now, so it makes sense that the final top 10 lists comes from not just me, but like a little bit of everyone. Anyway, okay. Hey guys, I'm going to have to call it a night for tonight. It's time to hit the hay, as we can say, so that hopefully I can get a little video out tomorrow morning if I can get up early enough before work. Thank you everyone who showed up for the stream tonight. I'm sorry, Tagay, that you're showing up and we're going. Hopefully you'll be able to stop by on Thursday. I'll be streaming, like I said, from about 11 a.m. Eastern time till at least 4 or 5 o'clock in the evening. So it'll be like a full day stream, and maybe it'll go further than that if depending on what we're doing, how it's going. So thank you so much for everyone for showing up. I hope you guys had fun in the stream, and as usual, I hope I'll see all of you in my next video. Have a great night, guys.